Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Tariq Shahzad. Our today topic is osmoregulatory function of kidney. Second year biology, chapter number 15. So this question, when you start solving, there is a difference between the topic name and the question statement. So question statement in the exam comes as explain kidney as osmoregulatory organ, or explain the osmoregulatory function of kidney. This one is a question, but the statement in textbook is written as concentration of excretory product. It means that concentration of excretory product in your textbook actually is an answer of this question, that explain kidney as osmoregulatory organ, or explain the osmoregulatory function of kidney. But keep in mind that this one is not the answer of function of kidney. The function of kidney is only the urine formation, whereas the osmoregulatory function of kidney means how it regulates the fluid in fluids, water concentration and salt concentration in body fluid, blood and tissue fluid. So answer of this question is concentration of excretory product. So this question deals two basic things. If our body is facing excess of water or shortage of water, then what will be the response of our kidney? This is explained in this topic. So in availability of water condition means on the availability of water, there are two situations. If the water supply is restricted, means shortage of water. And number two, if the water supply is in excess means extra water is present, then there are two different mechanisms to deal this situation of body. Number one, restricted supply of water. If there is a deficiency of water in the body, then it means that in body there is a deficiency of water. So kidney does not allow water to release along with urine. So it reabsorb maximum and conserve water within the body fluid up to 99.5%. So this is the situation that reabsorption of water from glomerular filtration is maximum. If there is a shortage of water in the body, to conserve water in the body and concentrated urine will produce. You have to write this statement in your textbook while explaining restricted supply of water, and also this line is written in the last line of this paragraph. You have to write it along with a restricted supply of water. And this one is also an MCQ, that mammalian kidney or our kidney is adapted to reabsorb 99.5% water back, or to conserve 99.5% glomerular filtration. So this one is an MCQ, that if there is a restricted supply of water within the body, then a concentrated urine will produce. Next condition or situation is that excess supply of water. When there is excess supply of water in body, means the body has to get rid. Get rid means jaan chudana. The body has to get rid from extra water. So whenever glomerular filtration is formed, there is no reabsorption of water into body again. Why? The body is already facing extra water. So body want to remove this water along with urine. So there is less reabsorption or no reabsorption of water in excess supply of water. A reabsorption is reduced minimum reabsorption, and excess water is removed from body, and excess water is removed from body along with urine. Thus, urine will be dilute and in large volume. Both these are MCQs, dilute and large in volume. Means When there is excess water in body fluid, then number one, urine produce will dilute in concentration and urine will produce large in volume. Both these situations deals when body facing excess of water supply. Next one is on what basis this reabsorption in restricted supply and no reabsorption in excess supply depends. Mean whether our kidney will reabsorb water or not reabsorb water, on what basis it is depends. It depends on two basic mechanisms. Number one, counter current multiplier or counter current mechanism. Both these names are used for same mechanism. Counter current multiplier or counter current mechanism number one. This controls the exchange of water. And number second thing is hormonal control. There are two types of hormone that are responsible by reabsorption of water and salt from the urine. So we will discuss now them. Reabsorption depends on counter current mechanism number one, and number two, hormonal control. And there are two types of hormone, aldosterone and ADH. ADH is an antidiuretic hormone. Next. So first of all, to understand counter current mechanism, you have to know that how the nephrons are arranged within the kidney. I have drawn a diagram of kidney here simply to just make you understand that how nephrons are present within the kidney. So this one is outer part of kidney known as renal cortex, and this one is inner part of kidney known as inner medulla. So when nephron arrange themselves to kidney, they arrange themselves in such a way that the Bowman capsule is toward the renal cortex, and the next other part, ascending, descending, and loop of Henle is deep in the medulla. Once again, the glomerular or Bowman part of capsule, this upper part of capsule is toward cortex, whereas the lower part of this nephron, mean loop of Henle, is deep in the medulla. So the next thing is that the fluid that is present within the kidney is interstitial fluid. So the interstitial fluid is used in next statement to make you understand that interstitial fluid is a fluid that is present in kidney. Yeah, the fluid of kidney is interstitial fluid. So the interstitial fluid from cortex to medulla get more concentrated. Once again, the interstitial fluid of kidney from renal cortex to renal medulla gets more concentrated. Means the renal cortex has interstitial fluid less concentrated, and the loop of Henle part of nephron has more concentrated interstitial fluid. So now it means that the medullary interstitial fluid is more hypertonic as compared to renal cortex that is less hypertonic. So now you came to know about counter current multiplier. The basic meaning of counter current multiplier is that opposite movement. Now keep focus on diagram that has been made in your book, that in descending limb, or this one is descending limb. In descending limb, the supply of water is opposite to descending limb. Descending limb is descends down, whereas blood ascends upward. So this is opposite movement. In this case, this one is ascending limb. In ascending limb, the movement of urine is upward, whereas the movement of blood is downward. It is also an opposite or counter current. Whereas in loop of Henle, you can see from your textbook that
the movement of blood is from ascending to descending. The movement of blood is from ascending to descending, but the movement of urine is from descending to ascending. So the total movement of blood and renal fluid is opposite to each other. That's why basically it is countercurrent multiplier. But in this situation, along with this opposite movement, the major phenomena that act is the reabsorption of water. Keep in mind that countercurrent multiplier just deal with the water osmosis or movement of water. So in this diagram, first of all, you label this diagram in your textbook along with signs that in descending limb, water is reabsorbed. In ascending limb, sodium ion is reabsorbed. In collecting duct, water is reabsorbed. Write these hints on your diagram that has been made in your textbook that descending limb reabsorb water, ascending limb reabsorb sodium ion, whereas collecting duct reabsorb water molecule. So all these are also as an MCQs. These are MCQs. And next thing is that, now you can understand that the lowest interstitial fluid is concentrated. Upper to this one is less concentrated and topmost is dilute. So now try to understand that the lowest liquid is more concentrated. It means that it is hypertonic. So water will move from limbs or renal tubule out of the interstitial fluid. So interstitial fluid becomes less concentrated and urine will become more concentrated. Why? From urine, water is moving out. From urine, water is moving out. So in this case, he said that from descending limb, water moves out. Why? The upper part is less concentrated, lower part is more concentrated, and inner to medulla or deep to medulla is more concentrated. So water moves out through a similar process, osmosis, without expenditure of energy. So when urine moves from renal corpuscles to downward, renal corpuscle to downward will become more concentrated. Why? The water release out through osmosis. Why release out? Because the lowest interstitial fluid is more concentrated. Simply, this solution is more concentrated, so water moves out, water moves out, water moves out, and water moves out. So when urine moves from top to the loop of Henle, urine will become more concentrated, and more concentrated. Okay? So here, this is written as countercurrent mechanism from cortex to medulla, interstitial fluid cause outflow of H2O from filtrate to kidney fluid. From filtrate to kidney fluid. That's why urine will become more concentrated. But only in descending limb. But only in descending limb. So you have to write here water is moves out. And no outflow of water but sodium ion from ascending. It means that from ascending no water but sodium ions outflow starts. And that was all about the countercurrent multiplier and mechanism. And last one is hormonal effect. What is hormonal effect on reabsorption? There are two types of hormone, antidiuretic hormone and aldosterone. Aldosterone is produced from adrenal cortex, whereas ADH is produced from pituitary lobe of pituitary glands के posterior lobe. Posterior lobe of pituitary gland, ADH, or it is known as vasopressin. Antidiuretic hormone, ADH, antidiuretic hormone. or it is also known as vasopressin, and aldosterone. Both these hormones, when secreted more, reabsorption is more. When they secreted less, reabsorption is less. So two hormones, aldosterone, adrenal cortex, this one is also an MCQs. ADH, antidiuretic hormone, this is also an MCQs, that it is produced from pituitary gland. It is produced from pituitary gland's posterior lobe. And aldosterone, reabsorption of sodium ion, it is also an MCQs. Whereas ADH is reabsorption of water reabsorption of water. So reabsorption of water is from descending and collecting duct, and reabsorption of sodium is from ascending limb. Now I have a question, that if a person produce concentrated urine, if a person produce concentrated urine, it means that aldosterone and number two, ADH, antidiuretic hormone, and number two, aldosterone produce in more concentrated or less concentrated. Once again, if a person produce concentrated urine, then both these hormones, aldosterone and ADH, produce in large concentration or small concentration. Similarly, if a person produce a very large volume of dilute urine, then he has a high amount of these two hormones or less amount of these two hormones. I will wait for the answers of this question. So I think I try my best to make you understand about this topic. So like this video, share with your friends, and also subscribe my channel. Allah Hafiz.